Hello everyone! This week I would like to share to you how I make my diamond cut stacking ring in yellow goldfield. It's the ring right here. It's beautiful with lovely texture and shiny finish. The material that I'm using is in yellow goldfield, which can be very tricky. I discussed it in detail in my previous video titling How to Make Gold Filled Earrings Step by Step. Feel free to check that out. I will link it on the screen here. It's going to be a quite simple tutorial because first you're not going to be using a lot of tools and making ring normally it requires a lot of calculation based on the finger size, but this time I will show you how to not do all that. And since I'm using pattern wire, so there won't be any texturing involved. Plus, this technique works for silver as well as copper. However, regardless of the simplicity, there's so much you can do with learning the skills. You will learn how to really bend the materials, and you're going to learn how to do a little bit of soldering and practicing precision technique. And the tools that are quite minimal, this is why this project is perfect for the beginner. And if you've already experienced in jewelry making, I hope this video also inspires you to try something new. Now, without further ado, let's get to work. This is the detail of the order. It's written here, it's size 4 USA. And using this international ring converter chart, you can find it online, but please be cautious, not all of them are accurate. After changing 2 times, this is the best measurement for me. Since I'm using a tool bought from the UK, I'm going to need to use the size in alphabet. Size 4 USA equals to H. This is the wire that I am going to be using. It's sparkle wire number 3. The thickness of the wire is 1.6 millimeter. I bought this from Rio. I don't normally buy from the US because the custom fee and the shipping cost, it will take double the price of what I'm paying normally. But since this is the only sparkle wire that I love, I've been looking around everywhere. Maybe if you have found somewhere that is not from Rio, please let me know. And preferably in the Europe. And you're going to ask me, where do I normally buy my supplies? Actually, I really prefer to buy my supplies from local or from a small suppliers. So this is a call out for you. If you are a suppliers out there, please let us know who you are by leaving a comment below. Thank you so much. Now back to work. To start the work, I'm mounting the screw-on bench anvil combination on my working table. Here, let me show you my ring mandrel. It only has alphabets. We are looking for size H that is equal to size 4 USA. Alright, let's mount this mandrel by putting it into the slot and screw in so it will be immovable. To fork a circle, I'm using this pair of chunky ring pliers. With the smallest diameter, just fork a circle with these pliers. I also will overlap a little bit. And next, just slide in all the way to the size H. And I'm going to mark the line on where to cut using the Sharpie. Now I'm taking off my mandrel and install the V-slot on the rectangular hole here. Make sure that it's really tight and immovable. Using a jeweler saw, I'm preparing to cut this wire. Place the wire on the V-slot. Make sure that the object is stable before cutting it. Make a mark by sliding up the saw a couple of times. That way it will leave a little dent, thus it will be easier to cut. When you can see the dent, you can start cutting by just moving it up and down. And since the blade is pointing downwards, the saw cuts if you move it downwards. However, the light movement up and down will stabilize the cut. Therefore, if you're just a beginner, just don't push too much pressure on the object and let the saw do its own job. Oops, did I just break the saw here? I forgot to lubricate the saw, and this is an old blade, so don't worry. This thing happens. I will take advantage of the occasion to explain on how to mount the blade on the frame. I have a chart here that explains what blade to use. Depends on the manufacturer, each blade size cuts different thickness. Mine is around 18 to 16 gauge, so I would need blade number 4. But my largest blade is in size 3. That's alright. I'm going to live with this, I guess. This is the blade number 3. I'm running my finger down the serrated side to find out the direction of the blade. You want to install the blade facing downward towards the handle. Okay, now I'm loosening the screw of the saw frame to open the blade holder and inserting the blade. Make sure that the blade is completely parallel with the frame. And if it's properly installed, there's going to be a bit of a tension. So when you strum the string, it will sound like a note. I'm just going to put more tension here by adjusting the frame. It's a good thing that my frame is adjustable. Can you hear it? Allow me to test something fun here. I have this gadget that tunes ukuleles and other string instruments. Let's see what note the tuner displays for this string. B note. Once the blade is installed, before it is used, you need to lubricate the blade. I just use this beeswax, free from food packaging, if you know what I'm talking about. Alright, let's finish this job. Uh, is this a joke? I should have just snapped it actually. All that for this. Okay guys, I'm sorry. I know this from the beginning because I'm the one who edited this video, right? But I thought it's amazing to include how to properly install the blade on the saw frame and a fun fact, finding out the tune of the saw. However, are all blades has the same tune? I'm not sure. Would you tell me what tune your blade makes? If you have the gadgets to use, leave the comment below just for fun. Next step, to file flat the both edges of this gold-filled circle, I'm using this disc on the mandrel bits mounted on the power tools. It's faster this way, but if you don't have it yet, just use any abrasives. For example, sandpapers, needle files. You can even use nail files. It works just the same, okay? I'm using the help of a pair of flat nose pliers to pull the two edges close, very close that it is touching. Every surface of these two edges needs to be touched, and I'm going to mark the separation with a Sharpie marker for it to be soldered later. Now let's prepare for soldering this circle. This is my soldering station, and I'm going to pick up my flux that it contains of a borax, and I'm going to squirt it with water. It will form into like a white paste, and basically we're going to use this paste as a shield to avoid fire stains on the item. I have arrived to the end of my borax stone. As you can see that white thing over there. So I'm using this other stone that I pick up, a pebble basically, to grind the leftover borax, and it works. Next, simply lay the piece on the soldering block. And this is the solder paste for 14 karat gold. Some of you have gold solder piece. It's also okay to use. It works just the same, but I prefer to use this paste. Don't apply too much, nor should you apply too little. So I'll show you the amount that I am using. About 2 millimeters at length, I guess, and slowly apply it on the mark. Once it's rightly installed, we are ready to fire until the solder melt basically. You don't need to fire the whole pieces, actually you cannot. Unlike silver with gold field, heating up the whole piece can pose a lot of problem. Just fire on the place where you want the solder to melt, and it will melt very fast. When it's finished, we need to soak it in the citric acid and water bath. In the meantime, let's chat. I have received a question asking what kind of torch I'm using. This is the answer. It's a butane torch. In order to turn this, you need to screw open this red button to let the oxygen out and eventually ignite to let a little bit of butane gas to flow. And to close, you just screw it back. So gas plus oxygen equals fire. It also has a plastic foot for the torch to be able to stand up on its own. So that's it. Let me know if you have other question by leaving the comment below. I'm now picking up my ring. Check the solder. It's doing fine, and I'm glad that the solder didn't really bulk up that much. Next, I'm going to form a perfect little circle using the mandrel, hammering it using the rawhide mallet. The wooden mallet also works. You can also use nylon and plastic mallet. This works just fine as long as it is not a marring hammer. For example, if you want to use a metal hammer, it will not work. You need to check with the manufacturer and basically ask the manufacturer if it's going to mar your pieces or not. I also have to check it if it's flat by putting it on the anvil. It's very important for the aesthetic element of this stacking ring. And last but not least, the polishing. The felt bit used is the smallest for the ring. And the compound that I'm using is ZAM, but other green paste polish also works. If you ask for my opinion, I don't recommend you to buy unnecessary things before you know for sure that you will be in this for a long time. Because the most important thing is to first learn the skill. If you, for example, only have a piece of soap, and an old toothbrush, that's all you need to shine this piece of gold-filled ring. Trust me, for the beginner, you can definitely skip the polishing. Okay, this is how the ring look like in the end. If you follow the step by step correctly, making the stacking ring is hard to miss. If, for example, you don't have the pattern wire, a simple round wire also works just fine. It'll even be easier. For you who are interested in purchasing this ring, I will put the link in the description below. They are also available in rose gold field. It's made to order from size 4 to 12. Okay, thank you so much for watching until the end. Finally, between the broken saw and the little demonstration of my new torch, I don't know if I would call this simple, but hopefully you get the essence of the basics and be encouraged to start and make something cute that your heart desire. I'm C from CBG Studio Diaries. If you are new here, I would encourage you to subscribe my channel for more jewelry making videos. Turn on the notification bell for a new video. I wish you well, be creative, and see you next time. Goodbye.